The first time my mother saw me breakdancing, she almost threw up. To make it less humiliating, I will narrate this incident in reverse. My mother runs into my room. There's a left foot shaped hole in my glass window. My body is upside down, flailing. I say to myself, this should be easy. I watch a hip-hop dance video on the internet. She did not see a pretty sight. I personally would have preferred to be caught masturbating instead. This was back in 2009 in India, where I've lived most of my life, where there was no breakdancing, this modern American art form. Was only practiced there by puberty hit early adopters of internet. I remember staying up late in the night to chat with dancers in America to learn some techniques, then practice in my bedroom amidst a small audience of broken furniture and a horrified mother. This soon led me to connect with other eccentric losers in my city, and together we started making a fool of ourselves in full public view, contorting our bodies and suffering through juvenile bald patches from spinning on our heads. True to tradition, we would practice on the sidewalks or in the park over a scrap of linoleum mat and startle morning joggers with a boombox which had loud renditions at 7 a.m. with James Brown screaming, "Get up off of that thing!" But my growth as an artist, as a dancer, was very slow. Ultimately, breakdance itself is a cultural dance form. It belongs to the hip-hop culture. And got very silent right now.
Janice turned it off.
The music.
All right. So, where was I? Yeah. Are you filming me? Cameras. Right. So, like I said, yeah, it's a very cultural dance form, and thousands of miles away from it, and without any access to resources, I did not have I could not steep myself into the hip hop culture the way American breakdancers could. It was like I wanted to swim in the deep, and all that I was given was a petri dish. This is around the time when a friend of mine suggested that the best way to learn something new is to teach it to someone else. My parents use this technique a lot. So I signed up for a volunteer gig in my city, which is Mumbai. I signed up to volunteer for a class of students, and I was assigned to an unheard of location within my own city of Mumbai, to this obscure little village. They called it Banganwadi. I had never heard of this before. And I remember first day, sitting on the back of the cab, all I could see as we were approaching was a small hill approaching from the front in the city. And as we got closer, turns out the hill really was a mountain of plastic, used condoms, and rotting vegetables. That obscure little village still is Mumbai's largest open dumping grounds. That mountain, Trash Mountain, wasn't on my way to the community, that was the community. People lived right on the side in crowded slums, and that's where the NGO the non-profit that I had signed up to volunteer with, they owned a small building. I didn't expect to as much as smile for the rest of the evening, but 30 kids were eagerly waiting to impress their new dance instructor. In the class, there was laughter and tumbling and walking on hands and flip-flops flying across the room. It was literally like I was witnessing the world congealing. Here are kids from the streets of Mumbai emulating kids from the streets of Brooklyn. They would tilt their hats to the side and ask me if they were hip-hop enough. And I told them, you have more street cred than my middle class ass could ever dream of achieving. I signed up for like a month-long volunteer work, and I ended up staying for a little longer than that, for 4 years. And to come to an incident at the midpoint, after 2 years, I decided to organize a dance show, so the other people in the community get to know who this mysterious outsider is who walks in every weekend and doesn't say hi. So I organized a dance show. I choreographed on a nice rap song, a Jay-Z number. The kids were, that's mine. Sorry. I need to finish the story first. The kids were dancing all right, I noticed, but we were having some problem with the choreography, and I couldn't put my finger on what was causing the confusion. And they didn't seem to enjoy the choreography either. You can teach a robot how to spin on its back, but how do you teach it to also take pleasure in it, to enjoy it? But we just persevered. And I remember like a week before the dance show, one of the students, 12-year-old Samir, walked up to me and said, "Teacher, we are not dancing to the words of the song. We are dancing to the sound of those words." And I thought, of course you are. See, the kids understood some English, but rap was just too much for them. They couldn't distinguish one word from another. Neither could I, but I like to pretend that I did. And then he suggested something that blew me away. He said, how about we break dance to a Bollywood song? The purist in me said, no, that is disrespectful. But the pragmatic choreographer in me, who had 6 days left for the show, thought, why didn't I think of that before? We changed everything. And that was the most under pressure fun we had ever had. Day of the show, the audience has no clue that what they're about to witness, is this mine?
Joke.
And the audience has no clue that what they are about to witness is something that simply hasn't existed before, a fusion, a break dance on Bollywood songs, also in Bollywood costumes. The crowd was stunned. They clapped, they cheered, they whistled, and they sang along because they were familiar with those songs. Sitting in the back of the audience, I remember thinking, this is either blasphemy or the genius of children, for they can think outside the arbitrary boundaries that adults set for them. Instead of adapting to a new art, they made the art adapt to their lifestyle, and in doing so, made it their own. And this is what was missing in my own practice. I was pretending to be someone who I wasn't. I was supposed to take raw elements from the culture, hip-hop culture, which was created by poor, disenfranchised African-American, Mexican youth in America. I was supposed to take raw elements of that and add samples of my own identity and create something novel out of it, the way hip-hop music and dance has always done. The kids made me realize that I had this rainbow of colors to choose from, and I was pretending like I was colorblind. Today, in America, when I see kids break dance, I think of the connection that they have, unbeknownst to them, with children across the world, in the slums of Mumbai, an invisible solidarity through street art. Thank you.